Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for the tremendous support with the PTG show. If you are enjoying these episodes and want to help with the progress and development of this program and connect with like-minded, hungry paintball players, then head on over to ptgpodcast.com, click the orange Patreon link, and become a member of the PTG World Discord chat room. And now back to the show. This episode of PTG is brought to you by HK Army. HK is an industry leader in high-quality paintball gear, accessories, and lifestyle apparel that was founded in 2007. And we have a tremendous opportunity for you all to be geared up on every level with HK Army custom team gear. Whether you're on the paintball field or in the airsoft arena, take your game to the next level by using code PTG to get 50% off your custom gear design fee. And I don't think y'all heard me out there. That is 50% off, and you will be able to collaborate with a seasoned designer to create custom branded HK Army jerseys, long sleeves, t-shirts, pants, gloves, or headbands for your team with no minimum order quantity. Head on over to hkarmy.com/custom and use code PTG for 50% off on your team's custom gear design fee right now. Let's go. Thank you, HK Army, for everything you do in paintball, in airsoft, and in so many people's lives. We love you. Go check them out. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us this episode. We have an absolute banger. This is a provocative one, so I'm just going to throw it out there. If you got some young kids around, maybe turn the volume down because Danny Mullen is a very well-known, famous, successful comedian, and you know what comes with comedy. It's a little provocative. Sometimes it could be a little much, but excellent episode. Danny has also played paintball before, so a great parallel there, and we have really enjoyed recently getting guests that are finding success outside of the paintball industry because I think it's a great crossover. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Yeah, you know it, PTG Nation. We got the ruckus maker, Danny Mullen, the YouTube phenomenon and the comedian extraordinaire who also loves playing paintball and has roots in the game. It is a tremendous honor to have you on, dude. Thank you for taking time during the holidays. You know, I think you're at your family house right now, so thank you, brother.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here with you guys. Tyler, I've been getting shot in the face by you since is the wrong word because I haven't been playing recently, but I was first shot in the face by Tyler Harmon probably like in 2005. And then Marcelo, I saw you tearing it up in like 2006 at tournaments, and you guys are always just way better than me. And paintball, isn't it weird when somebody's just way better than you at paintball? Because it's not like basketball where if the guy's 6'11" and runs a 4.3 40, obviously he's going to be good. Yeah. Paintball is so much more like
it's cerebral, alchemy. It's mental. It's almost like fighting. It's almost like fighting, right? Like, there could be a 5'6" dude that is small and looks like, you know, he doesn't know how to fight, but all of a sudden he's got you in an armbar, a guillotine, he's choking you out, you know, and you're like this, you know, 5'11", 6'2" dude kind of jacked, and you're getting beat up by this guy, and you're like, wait, what? How do you know this technique? But that's paintball for sure.
The only thing I'll push back on that is like usually the guy kicking your ass with the arm bar has a 6-pack, whereas there are like back players in paintball who are. Did I lose you guys? What's
No, we're here.
No,
We got you, bro.
Was I lagging there for a second?
No, not at all. It'll
you're
run
good.
crystal
Cool.
clear. We have a whole processing that goes after the shows and stuff.
Feels laggy, but
Hey, well, don't let that interfere with you. As long as you can hear us, we're good. And in post-production, it'll be clean. So, then we did lose him. Now he's a little blocky.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Maybe the Wi-Fi isn't the strongest right now.
I think he's back. He's back.
He's back.
No, we got you. You there, bro? Oh. Failed.
It's for sure Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi has gone down.
Send him a message real quick.
The old boy, dude.
Back. Hey, T, break. We got some hot news right now.
Yes, there is a lot of stuff going on right now in the paintball landscape. I mean, from top to bottom throughout the league, a lot of movements. We're going to call this the January Pan Scramble is going to be upon us here shortly. And it's happening a little bit early, even before the new year, rolling right into, Christmas and the holidays, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
But some really big stuff going on in the pro leagues.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Just heard that Justin Rabikoff was cut from Diesel, which I think is absolutely wild. He was a huge contributor to their, the success they did have this season, although not the success they were hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
So that is so strange to me. Really confused by the move. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. You never know what happens behind closed doors, but from an outside perspective, seems off. And then Dynasty, we just picked up Danny Schonauer. I'm really excited about that. I hate that we took him from Level. I'm such a fan of Level and Pando. Love Pando to death. One of the best fields in the country. One of the best people in the country. But blame Impact. It's Impact's fault. They took Mikey, so we had to replace the spot, and Danny was the right choice. And Pando was really actually graceful in it and sent me a very nice message, about the pickup and is supportive of Danny and excited for that journey. And I'm incredibly excited to have Danny. We had him on the show on PTG. He was really great to talk to, a lot of great insight into the game. And I mean, look, every time you play Level, who do you game plan for? You game plan around Danny. That's why he was voted on the All-Star team. Top coaches in the league are believe that he's a good talent. And what's interesting is Dynasty on this run has not quite had a true snake player. And that's not taking anything away from Archie. He's played, I think last season, 2022, the season he put together is one of the best seasons of all time. I don't, it's like undeniable what he's done, but he's not like a true snake player. He's like redefined how to play that side in a weird way, but now to have like this true snake player, we have Arturo, and Mikey was also that, but Mikey also doesn't like snake sides that are small. He likes the big bunkers, and he didn't get utilized in a way that was consistently like, you're in the snake all the time over and over like Danny does. So it's going to be very interesting having a player like that who, if you go back and watch the tape at World Cup, I mean, Danny single-handedly beat Diesel and outsmarted, J-Rab and Mouse on the snake side like multiple times. Just crazy. Those are two of the best players to ever play the game, no doubt. I mean, Mouse, Alex Goldman is, I can't sing enough praises about him. J-Rab, same thing. And Danny was like, he made some just phenomenal moves where it wasn't like, he made the snake on the break and their team shot the corner player, so he was able to go down and shoot 3 people. It was actually like he's down bodies, diving into a spot, saving the game off of cerebral type moves, So to me, that's absolutely incredible. I did just get your text. He's resetting the router. Good. Don't worry. We'll get him back in here. It's all good. There's so much to talk about right now, so much. So we're good. And we'll get Danny Mullen back in here, who is, man, I can't believe we have him on the show. It's actually so phenomenal. This famous comedian, he was like part of the Nelk Boys. Nelk Boys are incredibly famous. He has a massive YouTube following, almost 1 million followers, and he loves paintball. So this is the type of stuff. And, before pre-show, when we were in the green room, the PTG green room, which is like so elite, he was talking about wanting to do a really cool paintball video, which I think is incredible. Again, exposure on paintball. Let's go. And Tyler, this was all you. Thank you so much for setting this up.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, you're
he actually
legendary.
reached out. You know, he played
What?
paintball. Yeah, he played paintball, and
Oh,
somehow
I
we
didn't
got
know
connected.
that. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
he's been
Nice.
playing since like the early 2000s, so
Yeah.
he's been in the game. And we're gonna
Sweet.
see. You know, I know he has comedy shows going on. He gets paid to piss people off essentially on
Yeah,
YouTube.
totally. If you watch, it's provocative, but most comedians are. I mean, that's the only way you could be funny. But how interesting is that about comedy, that people will sit down and enjoy and laugh at this stuff because the setting is that it's a
Mm,
joke and it's not serious. But the
mhm.
only reason it's funny is because there's a little bit of truth also baked into it. But it's like, okay, it's the one time where we could laugh at it. I find that so fascinating about comedy. It's like the one sector that still is secluded from a lot of the woke BS, where it's like, it's comedy. What do you mean? They're just jokes. They're just jokes, people.
It's
They're
like
just jokes.
an art form almost
Oh, it's
in the
definitely an
same
art.
way that like music is viewed as an art. You can do
Yes.
and portray all
Yeah.
this, be as wild as you want in the music, in the arts,
Yeah.
in comedy. But definitely there is boundaries, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the type of amazing content that people come up with in general on YouTube, and
Oh yeah.
everyone eats it up. It is the biggest processing plant of information in our known world pretty much, and it is wild, the power and the money and the fame that it can create from YouTube. It's really something's crazy.
100%. Yeah, and it's incredible that now you can literally build your own thing because of social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can build your own thing. Period. I mean, look at us. We're sitting here talking, on a computer screen. What is considered public speaking, and tons of people listen. Whereas before, this wasn't an option. So we can build our brand and tell stories through this avenue. I mean, it's fascinating. We're so lucky with technology, but also there's a lot of downsides to it. That's with everything. So you just have to know how
Mhm.
to utilize it. But no,
Absolutely.
comedy to me is just, it's fascinating. I love comedy. I love the creativity and the wittiness that is required for comedy. You actually have to be a very bright person. You have to be very intelligent in order to be a good comedian. That's part of it. You have to have really great like emotional awareness of how things are going to pull certain strings, and you see some people, they'll just get up and they'll try to say a joke that just completely bombs because it's like, no, you kind of missed the mark, you missed the mark, and it was just rude. It wasn't funny. It was just rude, it wasn't clever. It was just like crazy. So, when you see comedy that's good and received well, it's usually because it's clever, it's witty. It also attaches to people's emotions, and people are like, oh no, I kind of feel that way deep down. And it's a provocative to feel that way. So I laugh about it. It is so interesting because you'll see, like, again, the same people that are like spewing and incredibly woke about certain topics will laugh at these kind of jokes. It's like, well, why are you laughing? It's because you recognize that there's a little bit of truth there, and that's okay. Like, it's totally okay. We've become so wild as a society, in my opinion, lately, with America, of just nothing's okay. Don't say anything. You can't say. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, I
No,
mean,
let's have all the bad speech, and let's refute that with better speech and good arguments against bad speech, so then you can maybe change people's minds. Like, discussion and open debate is so critical for a nation, for a country, for people, for relationships. It's critical to be able to have open discussion and debates with opinions that differ, and try to come to a better understanding. And yeah.
well, you have to. I mean, conversation is the key, my man. And we got Danny he's at his parents' house in NorCal, I think, quite possibly. I don't know where he's at, somewhere
Uh-oh.
in NorCal, and
Uh-oh.
the internet is down. So he's like, "Are you guys live?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Shit." So so we're
Shit.
waiting on
I
him.
have an idea. We could call him.
Yeah, there we go. Here, I'll just
We
send
we could do
you
that. So yeah, whatever it is, we can, dude. We have
here.
PTG has all the backup plans. Plan A, plan B. We never fail. We're
I'm
good.
gonna
Like, we
I'm
got
gonna
it.
send
Yeah.
you the info, and then we can give him a call. In the
Okay. Perfect.
meantime, I guess we
Give me
can,
one second.
talk about some other news that's going on with we've got Revo, Zach Geiger going to the LA Ironman. And I think there's some other developments that we're going to see pretty soon here on the Ironman as well. Depending on how everything shakes out.
Maybe.
Cody parts with X Factor and goes to AC Diesel. And AC Diesel
about that. Yeah.
just lost J-Rab as well. So interesting developments there in the Diesel camp. And then Revo also picks up Kyle Bowen. So that's a good pickup for them, to kind of bolster the roster there. And then Thomas, one of the bigger moves that we've seen is Thomas going to New York Extreme, which is going to really bolster their roster over there.
Huge. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that does too is it brings championship pedigree to a team. So like you bring in that veteran leadership, and that's an entirely different thing. It changes the game for a lot of those young players who haven't been to the finals, who haven't won a tournament. It changes the game for them. It's not even so much about what he can do on the field, which he can still produce at a very high level. It's more about what he's going to bring off the field, in the camp, in the meetings, right before the game, in between Sunday matches, how to spend that time. Like people don't realize how important the time you spend in between Sunday matches are. I think a lot of teams, they play their quarterfinal match in the morning and then like, oh, what do we do until the semifinal match? And they're kind of disconnected and miscombobulated. How you spend that time is imperative to how the semifinal goes. And then the semifinal match, usually there's such a long break between that one and the final match. And that's the most important one, where how do you spend your time? Because it goes from like a 1 hour break to a 4 hour break almost, And so it's like, how do you spend your time? How do you spend that time? It's crucial. And I think a lot of teams get there and like, oh, I don't know what we'll do. Well, you do this, we do that. We'll hang out, or let's be together. The championship level teams know how to spend that time, and it's together, and you're relaxing, you're recuperating, because by then you're pretty exhausted typically in the tournament. It's been a pretty grueling weekend already. So how you spend that time is imperative to the success. So those are all the little things that Thomas is going to bring to the New York Extreme camp, which, I mean, let's be honest, they've been knocking at the door this whole season. They were knocking at the door. They were an overtime loss away from making the finals in the first event this year. So they've been right there, and a little bit of veteran leadership, I think it's going to go a long way. Obviously, Rich Telford being their coach makes a lot of sense. Rich and Thomas have a major history, and I know we're going to have an episode with Thomas Taylor, so excited for that. But yeah, wild.
Yeah, Danny's ready if you want to give him a call.
Okay, perfect.
He said his internet is just torched, but he's ready for the phone call.
Okay. So should I do, what I wonder, this we haven't tried yet. I wonder if I could FaceTime and share the FaceTime.
Yeah, I think that might actually.
I don't know if this will work. Let me see.
We'll give it a go.
Let me see.
Dude, I can't wait to ask Danny about the bit that they did about the biggest dip of all time. It had me just rolling, laughing so hard. He travels across the country, going to, rougher areas across the country. And
I'll do this maneuver. Bro.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're live. You're on the show. The audio is good. It's not the most ideal, but at least we got your face there, and we can rock, bro. We're good.
Okay, should I try coming in one more time with my phone through the email link? Let me try that before we resort.
Oh, we're live, brother. Let's just run it.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
All right.
Give it a shot.
Give one a shot.
Give it one shot, and then otherwise we'll do this.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, cool. We'll see you in there. Just jokes, people.
He said his internet's torched. There's no way.
Well, he's going to try to come in through his phone. Why is his internet torched? Is he in Mount Shasta? I don't get it.
No, I don't know where he's at. I think he might be like in maybe east of the Bay Area a little bit, somewhere in there. I have no clue. Or he's in SoCal. I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought he said he was in NorCal.
Yeah, I think he might be.
Yeah.
He might be.
Well, anyway, we'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, all good. Again, so much juicy news that we get to still share on this episode. So, all the stuff. Thomas going to NYX, I think, is pretty big. Russians are still making some huge offers. I don't know if I don't know if anything's coming to fruition, but they're making some massive offers from what I hear.
Yep. Yeah, and Danny, I mean, that Danny
Yeah.
parting with LVL to go to Dynasty is pretty monumental. It's a huge loss for LVL because he was one of their main attacks, and really, really proficient at it.
Hey, we got him. He's back. All right.
Danny.
All right. Hey, it's working.
I know, man. I'm so sorry. My
It's
parents
okay.
can both attest to. Dude, I was so pissed. I was like, I almost punted my mom's cooking off the table. I was so mad at the Wi-Fi, dude.
I thought you did this for like a living. I thought you like hosted YouTube things, did all the, like what the hell, bro?
Well, Marcelo, I don't live in my fucking mom's bedroom. Okay, I live in Los Angeles, where I have a very nice bedroom studio, and I don't have it right now.
Oh,
dude. Okay,
man,
so
dude.
so what
Struggle
area?
bus.
What city are we in? Where are we at?
What city we in?
We
Are
meaning
Yeah.
You.
Oh, I am in the fine city of Orangevale, California. I don't even think technically it's a city. It might be like a township or like a something designated place. But yeah, it's about 40 minutes outside of Sacramento, which means the parks I was playing at were WAP, and then Modesto, which is extreme.
Yeah, that's right. So, dude, let's dive into the early years. Like, how did you even find paintball? First off.
Paintball sort of, I guess, it coincided with the whole skateboarding boom. It seemed like in around 2000, 2001, everybody was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And if you were a badass, you went paintballing on the weekend.
That's pretty spot on. And then
I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater as a kid. Loved that game.
Hell yeah.
And then, sorry, I'm trying to get the searchlight to go on again. That was my ring light.
Oh, you're good, brother.
I'm sorry, Marcelo. That I'm using a floodlight as my ring light, dude. All apologies here, but
this couldn't be more.
At least you're funny,
perfect.
Dude. Yeah, at least you're funny.
So
I'm seriously. I've been looking forward to this for so long, man. I want to be professional for you guys. I swear I do.
No, as have we, man. Like we talked about, we make ruckus. We're like paintball players, comedians. We go and we live loud. We live a loud, different lifestyle than most people. So it's really amazing to have you on the show to be able to talk about branding, talking about building business and becoming a successful individual at something that is kind of niche, because it is, it's like taboo. It's like the arts, essentially, comedy and all of that. It's a very amazing thing that you're able to do. And you're like building an empire, your own little, brand off of the whole entire thing. And it's through the power of socials and all that kind of stuff. So I want to pick your brain on how, first of all, like go back to paintball, but then dive into the business aspect of, making money and doing what you love, because it's a really difficult thing. And there's a lot of opportunity for so many out there right now.
Yeah. And paintball is a lot like what I do, which is comedy on YouTube. And that in the early stages of it, dude, it's like, if you haven't figured out the socials and the money side of it, people are like, you know how much of a fucking loser you are? Like, you're running around in the forest with a gun, or in my case, like you're running around with a vlog mic on a beach harassing people. Like, get a job, loser. But then so I feel like we have to go through this hell, but then once you figure it out and you become like polished and professional and high level like you guys are, then it's awesome. But yeah, you want to talk about branding? My brand is being tarnished tonight. That's for sure.
No way. This adds to it, bro. It's fantastic. And you're always welcome back on anyway. We can get you when you've got the full studio production and after we we'll talk about it, but you want to make a sweet paintball video, like a full kind of let's talk about that. What exactly are your ideas for doing some sort of paintball production with some humor baked into it?
Yeah. So I was talking to these guys about this before we went live, but this is how Tyler and I followed each other, because I think he'd seen one of my videos. And I remember Tyler, of course, from Manteca back in the day.
Well, Tyler, the next step is you're going to get pregnant. Once you follow someone, pregnancy is like the next step. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the way things are going in California, people would probably not even be that surprised. Yeah, Tyler Harmon got me pregnant, you know?
Makes sense. Checks out.
It'd probably be better for both of our careers, bro, honestly.
Yeah, there's got to be a tax for that.
But so Tyler and I started talking, and I knew Tyler from Manteca Paintball Park, which, Tyler, that probably closed down in 2005, 2006.
Right around there. Yep. I think maybe even, yeah, right in that vicinity, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it feels weird. I feel like the three of us all look like pretty young dudes, but we're telling these war stories from like
Yeah.
the millennium, dude.
Dude, shout out to Manteca one time. This is like, they had the water. It was a water park. They had this whole water park, which was epic for the Central Valley. Like, everybody knew about Manteca water slides. You know, it was like the spot that everybody would go, and they had the paintball field attached right to it. And it was only around for, I think, like a year or two, maybe a couple years before it got closed down.
But it was the spot. It was sort of like music venues or nightclubs is the better analogy. Whereas like one gets hot, and that is the black hole that attracts all the talent. So for a while, I feel like all the relevant teams in NorCal, all the big dogs were going out there. And Tyler was like the Ryan Sheckler of paintball, in that like he was just so good, and you couldn't put your finger on why he was so good, and he would blow everybody. But you were so nice, Tyler. I remember always, dude, like you were just you would like run through and just annihilate the other team. You were, you know, paintball, we were talking about, there's a lot of wild cards, a lot of guys who are characters, and there's tempers, and dudes would like fight in the parking lot and like get up in a 13-year-old kid's face saying he was and like try to fight him. Tyler was like the opposite. Just from the youngest age, I never saw him do anything immature or inappropriate, just a consummate gentleman. So I was excited to start DMing with him, and I sucked his dick, Marcelo. Is that a big deal, dude? Is that a big fucking deal?
I mean, it can't get you pregnant. It can't get you pregnant, but
Jesus, I mean,
dude. This is a family show. My goodness. Hey, we had the comedian on. We knew what we were getting into.
It is a family show. This is a family show. We got to keep it PG. Take it easy. Take it easy. But yes, Manteca was epic. That was where I actually got picked up on the Oakland Assassins. Was out in Manteca.
I'm dying. I'm dying. Tyler, hold on. Did this happen, Ty?
No, man. This is crazy. Y'all are wild.
Yeah, Bob Long and those guys were playing with you.
Yeah, well, actually, it was like Rich Telford, the Twisted Paintball Camp. That's what I came up through, was Twisted Paintball, Twisted Kids, you know. So it was, like you said, it was a crazy group of people, obviously, you know, and just out there playing paintball. And because of the area, like you said, the hub center where the good paintball was, I got to get picked up on the Oakland squad there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to keep it light, brother. You're taking it the extra distance. Holy smokes.
I'm sorry, bro. I forgot that paintball is a sport that people of all ages enjoy. And don't be like me, kids. Don't be like me.
Yeah, man. We're going to have to can you. You're canceled.
Hey, but oh, God. If he hasn't been canceled by now, there's nothing we could do to cancel him.
Yeah.
Marcelo, many times.
So again, so when you were off,
he said that he had respect for the paintball community, and, you know, keep it respectful.
I want to press into this just a little, or lean into it a little bit. But when you were dealing with your internet, just pay the bill, dude. Just pay the internet bill. You know, it's like not that hard. Just pay the internet bill and you'll be fine.
Okay. No. I probably should be paying the bills at my mom's house. That'd be nice of me to do.
That'd be nice. Yeah. No, but when you're trying to get everything rebooted, we were talking about comedians and how it's like the one space to this day that is like, it's like you almost can't touch it, right? You have like all these woke movements, but comedians is like, oh, well, no, it's just jokes. But then there's like something in those jokes that there's a reason it's funny. It's because there's a little bit of truth to it. And you are someone who's like really pushed the envelope, you know, through your channels of that type of stuff. What motivates you to do that? Where does your creativity in your writing come from?
I think from curiosity. So yeah, I don't really have an urge to offend people, despite all the offensive things I've said
It just happens naturally.
It just happens.
But
Yeah.
I guess I'm very curious and I want to learn and understand the world more and more. And
Okay.
in doing that, that leads you down a lot of roads that could be considered controversial. I wanted to understand COVID more. So we've done a lot of videos on that. People's attitudes toward the police is something we've covered a lot in our videos. And
Well, time out really quick.
yeah,
Because I haven't seen all of your videos, but I've seen some, and
Okay.
it doesn't seem like in those videos you're trying to learn about it. It seems like you have already learned about it, and then you are creating the content. Is
sure.
that
No, that's valid. Yeah.
okay?
I think it's kind of cowardly when people who are like journalists or YouTubers just don't really have a take. So I do prefer to take a take, which is sometimes controversial, and choose a
Sure.
side because
Sure.
I mean there's enough limp-wristed reporters that are out there just like, oh, I don't like to say who I vote for or what I do.
Sure.
And I don't consider myself necessarily a Republican or a Democrat. I think any sensible person should believe in both sides, kind of what you're saying, Marcelo. Like, play with that line that offends the Trumpers and that also offends the pink hairs that are on the UC Berkeley campus.
I think
So
purple or blue is like the more common color.
I think you're right. And I went to a Barnes and Noble today and I got served by a woman with purple hair. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I think it looks
You were
great.
just
My
you were
little
just
sister
on the
has
East
purple hair.
Coast duking it out. What was going on over there? You were just out there.
yeah, so I actually got in trouble for I was in Tennessee and I got arrested. The charges were impersonating a dental hygienist.
Wait, what?
I was trying to clean some teeth, Marcelo. Okay, you got a problem with that, buddy? But
Well, you do have a dirty mouth, so it makes sense. Yeah.
I should be cleaning my own.
I can write some jokes too.
But so the idea was we were doing a documentary on big soda and these big food companies that just count on people in low income places to keep buying their products and injuring their own health.
Yeah.
And we wanted to expose that by going to a free dental clinic in Appalachia, which is just a bunch of dirt poor hillbillies. And so we were in the clinic. Got to go turn my ring light on again. And they don't mess around out there, man. There's not a lot of real crime. So the police have unlimited time to respond. Locals have unlimited energy to get offended by stuff. So the police were on us basically like the moment we got there. And they didn't like me. They thought I was making fun of them. And I got thrown in the slammer for a night. And now I'm on probation for a year.
Oh, dude, that's
were you
great.
intoxicated or it was impersonating a dental? Were you intoxicated? That's my question.
Dead sober. I was dead
Well, actually,
sober.
Okay, yeah, and I also don't want you to incriminate yourself on the show, but I just realized we're on the air. Okay, yeah, wow, that's a wild story.
But that's like you're in a crazy business, dude. You are in a crazy business of getting views to make money essentially, and it's a wild thing. But how do you create the content schedule? Like how do you know? Do you have it mapped out for a month, or do you have like a whole in-depth look at your next 6 months? How do you create the content?
For the first time in a while, I'm taking a full month off right now, Tyler, and I am going to really plan ahead and try to get a month and a half, 2 months scheduled. When I'm creating the content, I think it's important to be, and this is relevant to whatever anybody listening does for a living or wants to do for a living. I think it's important to be uncomfortable, meaning the soft side of me only wants to do one big, super good video once a month or 2 videos a month. But I think whatever you think you're comfortable with, you have to like double that or multiply it by 1.75. So I make myself put out a video every week, and that's been my schedule for the last, I think we only missed 2 weeks last year. And that can be gnarly.
Damn.
There's a lot of crazy late nights, a lot of stressing out, a lot of videos that you think they're going to be masterpieces when you start the production on them. And then when it comes time to upload, you're just like, I hope people don't kick me off YouTube for this. I hope this isn't so bad that my fans don't abandon me. And, it's just like paintball, dude. Like you got to show up. You wake up sick. You feel terrible. I know that you guys have had, I'm sure, mornings where you felt like you couldn't play, and then you're glad you got out and did. So that's my
part of it. It's part of it, right? Yeah, whether it's actually playing or training or something you're doing for the sport, there's been plenty of times where you just are like, I don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah.
But everybody has those. And actually, I think the better athletes in the game are the ones who have more days like that they overcome than their peers, right? And I'm sure it's the same way in comedy or in any profession. Like nobody wants to do something every single day. Humans are very they don't want to, one, be told what to do, two, do something the same every single day. Some people really love that kind of routine, but it's a lot. It's really extensive on like the mind, the body. And so the ones that actually succeed in any field are the ones that overcome those days more than their peers. Talent and certain, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. And again, I do want to kind of dial back a little bit and dive back into your, not necessarily your motivation, but where this creativity is sparked from. Because again, to me, comedy is if you can deliver a joke well and people laugh and people truly relate to it, it's a sign of intelligence. So it's not like there's a lot of time put into, one, how to carefully craft a provocative piece. There's an art to that. That's a very unique ability that a lot of people are, one, afraid of, and two, can't do even if they tried. So what's your process? You're saying you release a video every week. What's your process in creating these videos? So do you come up with the content 100% on your own? Like, what is that? Walk us through what 1 week looks like and how to create that video.
Yeah, usually a video idea just kind of comes to me through the ether. Like I was reading the newspaper in Nashville while waiting for my probation to permit me to come to California yesterday, and one line of a story just like a cascade of jokes came out of my head that I needed for a stand-up act that I was working on. So that's one way. But let's apply that to videos. Usually videos come in much the same way. They just kind of fall out of the sky. And then once you get that idea, then it becomes blue collar. Then you got to put it on the calendar, see logistically how that'll work, travel. Monday, you start mapping out the concepts of where you're going to be, order whatever props, costumes you need. Tuesday, you sharpen the idea. Wednesday, you're calling up all your cronies and your underlings saying like, hey, we got to get to Imperial, California by Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Let's figure that out. And then eventually Saturday, you go out and shoot it. You have and then that next week, you have to be planning the next content while you're editing the video you just shot in Imperial, California. So, yeah, it's
relentless. It's relentless work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. That's basically it. It's just a ton of work, and but it's awesome, man. And then
it's almost as much work as having to get to the floodlight. Like you're having to get out to this floodlight. You're working right now, dude.
Dude, I don't want to bore the audience by trying to tamper with this piece of electricity. I don't know.
Just do it, dude. Rip it.
I wish there was raccoons in my backyard that would keep it activated for this interview. That'd be nice. Just keep crossing.
Dude, I have to say, one of the funniest bits ever was the biggest dip of all time. I think you guys were in Bakersfield.
Oh yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. And that bit had me rolling, dude. I couldn't stop laughing. He was just kept packing the chaw in to the lower lip. The upper lip. You guys are calling him out like, that ain't no dip, boy. He just kept packing it in.
Yeah, that one. We were doing a video on Bakersfield country music. Outside of Nashville, like Bakersfield randomly had this huge country music scene. And we just met a guy on the street who, he looked like he fit in Bakersfield. And if you know Bakersfield, you know that's not really a compliment. But we basically talked him into putting an entire can of Copenhagen in his mouth. And he did. And he loved it, and I think that clip's got like 2 million views now. He's a star for it.
Shout out to Bakersfield one time. I love Bakersfield. That's and you grew up in NorCal, so just the Central Valley in general. I have a sweet spot in my heart for the Central Valley. Always will. So shout out to the Central Valley up there.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, my neighborhood's probably just as bad as Bakersfield. I'm lovingly talking trash about it.
Yeah, no, it's And a lot of paintball actually came out of Bakersfield too. The Bakersfield camps would come up into the Modesto area, play at Extreme. You got to play at one of the most iconic paintball fields of all time out there in the Bay Area, and as well as at Modesto. So being able to play alongside so many crazy players, talk to us kind of about that. Like, what was it like growing up in the early 2000s in Northern California with the amount of talent that was coming out of that area at the time?
So our field that I started at was action paintball games. I don't, Tyler. Yeah, I feel like you've been around forever. You've probably heard of it, but
Yeah.
It was pure woods ball, or maybe you would have a couple spools laid out that would function as like a pseudo speedball. But it started for like how probably it started for all of us. You go out there and you've got like the molded JT plastic mask, and you've got the Tipman 98 custom with the gravity fed hopper and the CO2 tank. And then after you play for a month, you start asking your dad for an autococker, even though he probably thinks it's going to be a huge waste of money and you're going to quit. And then you get the autococker and you start hanging with like the good guys at APG, the woods ball place. You enter some local tournaments, and then like there are rumors circulating that, dude, Cap Factory is going to be there. Cap Factory's rolling deep to this local tournament, and then you get like your heart rate gets up and you're
Cap at that time was the all-time that still in the history of paintball. I think Cap is like my all-time favorite just team in general. They're just so iconic for the time, and the style that they brought to paintball at that time was next level.
Very stylish. They were sort of like one of the like garage bands that came out of the early where style was just as important as the product, which was paintball in this case, or rock music. And like those guys like Jason Locke, Glenn Takamoto, Jason Barrett. Yeah, they look so like cool in their gear. And so they were like male models in a way, even though you couldn't see their faces under their masks. Like everybody paid attention, and they had those bright red and gold jerseys. So I started playing with those guys, and this is how it worked. Like I played with Rodents for a while, which was like a local D3 X-ball team.
The Rodents, they're all-time greatest.
I got so many rodent stories, bro. But so I went to an Avalanche tryout after like shit fell apart with the Rodents. And I just had a good, or was it a tryout? It might have even been a clinic, dude. It might have been like you pay to go get taught how to play by Avalanche. And they they were like, hey, you're pretty good. You should keep coming out to practice with us. And they actually used these words. We want to see if we can make you the next Tyler Harmon.
No way.
They actually use those words, dude. But it's interesting. Around that time, I had just started high school, and I had already started doing what I basically do today. We were putting together a DVD of comedy antics and stunts and pranks that still exists on YouTube, like in its entirety, made in 2004, 2005. And like,
what's the name of that one? What's the name of the video?
It's called The Art of Chaos. You can find me reviewing it on my channel, though. It's called I Found My High School Videos is the name of the video. And there's a lot of paintball stuff, too. Just like, oh, yeah, this will be good. This was a good meeting of the comedy and the paintball world. My buddies are sleeping over at my parents' house right here in 2005. They're both passed out on the floor. And I just go, I take my DM5 and just my Die Matrix 2005, and I just go full auto on them while they're sleeping.
Oh, bro. Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Don't try that at home, kids. But
no.
But what happened there is I started because I was so focused on video stuff. I kind of found myself like calling Glenn Takamoto or Dave, who were sort of the head guys on the team, and like making up excuses why I couldn't come to practice on Sunday, or why I could only train one day that week. Because like I wasn't very good at paintball, dude. I'm so slow.
Dude, I'll bet you if you go play right now, I bet you you're pretty good. I'll bet you if you took the field, you stepped out of that car and got your mask and goggles and all that, you'd be out there getting it. Yeah, he's snap shooting on the YouTube. But it's like if you've played paintball, and obviously you have, and if you have a team like Cap that says, hey, keep it up, or we want to, have you train in the camp, that's definitely a sign that you have some skill. So I'll bet you if you would have kept going, there's no doubt that you would have been able to make an pro run and be out there, possibly even out there today. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing back. There's no way I could.
Dude, just loading pods. Boom, boom, boom.
Go out there with 18 pods. Just, what's interesting. At what point did the rate of fire get like mandated to be brought down? Because it's a lot slower than it was when I played.
It was aggressive in the early 2000s. Yeah, it was uncapped. So we were just shooting like crazy. But I think it was within the last 10 years, something like that. Maybe even a little bit more. How many years? When did the rate of fire get capped, March?
We went from 15 balls a second down to 12.5, I want to say in 2009. And then it went to 10 in 2012. I'm sure I'm off a little bit, but it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the logic because I'm Tyler, I'm sure you were shooting Intimidators when you were playing with those guys. There was a feature called Debounce 1 that you could program into the gun. Like most people probably have not even heard of this from the new generation. But the trigger, like one click of the trigger would give you like a random amount of, I'm not even going to say 2 or 3, like a random amount of shots would issue out of the gun when you hit the trigger at like 18 balls a second.
It was crazy. Yeah.
It was like it was like a minigun in Apocalypse Now. That was the rate of fire.
So when you got bunkered with one of those, it was a whole different experience, like getting bunkered in the early 2000s was a little bit different just because of how many paintballs, were just coming out. And it had to kind of change because the game got a little bit better, players got better, and it allows for a little bit more movement. I mean, I don't know how we didn't just shoot everybody off the break with that much paint in the air, at those times. There wasn't even as many bunkers either as the current, there's 50, there's so many bunkers on the field now.
It's also got to make it more financially viable too, because think of how much paint.
There you go. Yeah.
And a case of paint, is not cheap. And if you are shooting 18 balls a second, you're going to go through a case and a half of paint or 2 cases of paint a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That.
It is interesting how some players as well will wear 18 pods and some players will wear 8, there's a huge, I don't know if that's ever something that'll change, but there's no cap on paint, anybody can you can walk out there. You got a big enough tank. You bring 2 cases of paint with you out there and just let it rain as long as possible. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting how much paint can be shot as well in each one of those points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fucking paint, dude. Paint shoot. Rates of fire. Now we're getting into it. I like it.
100%.
Yeah, shout out.
So let's kind of dive back in. I don't think we finished talking about the paintball video. I think that was maybe the question right before the internet went out. But the paintball video that you want to create, what's your vision for that?
So I basically love the idea of getting back in touch with people who I haven't talked to in a long time, because I think the foibles and the idiosyncrasies of any individual person are so interesting, and especially the people from paintball. You guys are at such a high level now that the people you hang around are probably a little bit more high level themselves. But coming from the woods ball scene and hanging around the Northern California scene back in the early 2000s, I've been trying to get in touch with people who I played with to figure out what they're up to and how paintball still factors into their lives. So, for instance, one of my buddies who I grew up playing with at action paintball games in the woods he came out of the closet. And so he's now like a married gay nurse who still plays paintball and is still really good. And I got to interview that guy and see what his life looks like and how paintball still factors in. Another guy who played on Avalanche now works at a field part-time and is just like a blue collar working stiff. And I want to go follow him around the field and see what he's up to. a guy like Tyler, who's doing it at the highest level, I want to see what that looks like too. And I also want to go get reacquainted with Dave Baines and those guys, because paintball, it's sort of like comedy, what I do. Like, you gotta love it. Like, that's the only reason you can be in it, is you gotta be like passionate to the point of being a little crazy. And that fascinates me. And I just want to spend time around those people for like a full weekend. And I'm still trying to work it out. I would love for it to culminate in some sort of big scrimmage with a bunch of guys from my past who I used to play with, but we'll see. Still working out the ideas.
Awesome. I love it. Well, anyway, we could help and facilitate with, other top pros or whatever it might be. We'd love to be part of it, man.
Marcelo, where are you located?
San Diego.
And then Tyler, you're in AZ still?
Yep, Arizona.
Okay. Yeah. I'll talk to you guys off once we get off the pod about that, but it's going to be big time.
Well, I'm sure if it's anything like your other videos, it'll be super classy, a nice classy cut.
I'm sensing sarcasm, buddy. I'm a classy guy.
Yeah. So let's dive into, some more of your lifestyle. Like how does a typical day for you look? Like, are you just always on the road?
No, I don't like being on the road too much. You guys might feel similar. Once I'm eating like crappy hotel food and I'm sleeping with the floodlight from the floodlights are good right now, but in a hotel, when they have the floodlights coming right through your window and it's bright and the AC's loud and I sleep like crap, I like being home, and I like just being on the road long enough to get the content, or for you guys, compete in the tournament, then get back to my routine. I'm pretty routine oriented. I wake up relatively early, a little bit later now because I do stand up in clubs too, but I like stretch out, meditate. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu to stay in shape, and I work really hard. I don't really, people would probably be disappointed to hang out with me for a day on a Tuesday. Given how I look in my videos, they'd be like, dude, you're boring as crap in real life. Crap.
But you're working.
Like that.
You're working. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you could say whatever you want at this point, man. You're going off the rails here. So you are a hardworking individual. I mean, point blank. That's the only way you get any point of success in anything. You have to work really hard.
100%. And if you are having a hard time working really hard, you're probably in the wrong industry, because you want to find the thing where working really hard is your vacation. Like, I get annoyed when things come up, when people are like, hey, dude, it's my bachelor party. There's going to be a bunch of strippers. Let's go get drunk. I'm like, dude, I wanted to read this book that I'm trying to turn into a video idea. Like, I want to go to bed at 8 p.m. tonight. No, I'm not going out. Like, that's how you should be. Like, the idea. Absolutely. Anything coming between you and your thing should deeply bother you. And that's how it is with me with videos. And that's how it is with you guys. Obviously, that's how it is for you guys with paintball. That's why you've been in it for like 20 years.
Dude, we're getting old, man.
Hell yeah,
I'm gonna be 35 years old coming up here.
Yeah, I'm 34, but I feel like you see, that's the thing, is we do what we love, so we all look much younger than we actually
You're
are.
so right, dude. I like look at other people my age and I'm like, look at this old man. And you're like, I'm 33. And I'm like, you're 33, they got their suit, they're going to you with their briefcase, and they just look so old and sophisticated. I'm like showing up in my gym gear, enjoying myself. Like, it's wild. This job, this profession, this career has absolutely kept me feeling so young. It's like such a blessing, but in the same breath, it has also given me an immense amount of experience that I never would have gotten doing anything else. And so I feel so much more, I feel like my soul is so much older in that sense too. It's like a really unique, you're youthful, but almost, with this immense amount of like wisdom that's been passed down through experience from the things that paintball has done for us, the people we've met, the experiences, the travel, all that stuff. It's incredible. We're so lucky.
What do you think's the biggest thing that you've taken from paintball? What's your favorite thing about paintball other than the actual like on the field shooting at people?
Yeah, that's easy, dude. It's like a very clear goal and this opportunity to consistently become the best version of yourself as a player. right? And if you understand what it takes to become the best player you can be, which is what all of us should be striving to do, then you should be able to understand what it takes to become the best person you can be. It's all the same process. So I think sports in general, I'm sure it's not, exclusive to paintball. It's just sports in general, I think, are so important for that exact reason. And paintball has given me this platform to be like, okay, I want to create this character and this person and maximize my abilities. How can I maximize my abilities in this game, in this sport? Right? In this space, what can I do to cover all avenues and really, be unique, do something that nobody else has done, be innovative, perfect like a technique. This has given me the platform to do that. And with that, it's made me a better person all around because I relate all of those things to every single thing I do. So, to me, that's the greatest gift it's given me is the ability to recognize what it takes to become really good at something. And if you can relate that to just becoming a really good person, that's fucking dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah, totally, man. It's with martial arts, it's sort of the same thing. For you guys, once you work your way up to, you're the guy who went from D3 to D2 to D1 to you're a pro, and then you sustain a pro career where you're undeniable. It doesn't matter what either you Marcelo or Tyler do. You guys could tomorrow start a plumbing business, but you would have such a strong foundation of confidence having mastered paintball that you'd be like, I can do this. I can figure it out. Yeah. And that's such a blessing that, you and I, we've already climbed our little mountains in our worlds. And I feel like I can take on the world right now, even if I got kicked off YouTube, or even if, God forbid, something happened where you guys couldn't play paintball. That's the beauty of what we do. If you do something you really love, you can gain that confidence from it in all avenues of your life. Yeah.
Totally agree, man. It's almost like if there was a mathematical formula for success, right? Success in general. Paintball almost teaches you, through the sport. At least it is teaching me. Maybe there's a lot of players that it hasn't taught. Maybe they didn't reach that. But paintball has taught me the mathematical formula to success. And I think you could apply that formula to almost anything you do. And you can succeed based off the formula that was taught, that was learned here in this sport, So yeah, man, I agree. It's incredible.
I want to break down that formula right now. What do we think that formula is?
Well, it's a lot for sure. Yeah, work ethic is a big part of it. Openness, flexibility, being able to believe in the things that you know and understand, but also have the understanding that you could be wrong. Part of the formula is certainly time. How much time you put in is a huge part of it. Period. Everyone says, the common thing is 10,000 hours, and in paintball, it's like time behind the gun. Time is a huge part of it. I think sacrifice is another part of it because you don't get to time without sacrifice. So you have to be able to limit things that distract you from what your goal is. It's a myriad of things for sure, and it's that formula is also in a way ever changing. There's been new pieces that I've picked up along the way, and I'm like, oh, add this to the formula, and now my success is even more concrete response. So
I would add for me, one that's big, I totally agree with all those, is what's the way to put this, the correct vocabulary word? What am I searching for? Humility. And
totally.
Because I'm sure that it's happened to you guys. It happens to me in comedy where a guy gets up and kills on stage, or somebody else puts out a great video. And if you're threatened by that and you get mad that somebody just did something great and maybe you kind of bombed, or your video this week kind of sucked, or maybe you were off at this tournament and while other guys' team was on, if you get mad at that, that only hurts you.
Totally, man.
You got
jealousy.
I can learn from that. What did he do that was good? I'm going to go watch the tape and try to be more like that my next outing. So yeah, that one's big for me in addition to everything you said.
100%, dude. And that kind of actually was what I was referring to when I said openness, right? Like being open to other people maybe being better than you, being open to other ideas being better than yours, being flexible in your thinking and realize, like, I used to be so hard-nosed when I was younger because I put in the time. I watched all the film. I did all the work. I made all the sacrifice. I did all the things that, like, by the book you're supposed to do. So I felt very confident in my way of playing and my understanding of the game. And to this day, I think mostly I was probably right, but there were times when even if I wasn't right, doesn't matter. My unwillingness to be open to my teammates and other perspectives actually hindered us, and it hindered my own personal growth as well. So like that, it's something that has been such a great development in my career recently is like, we'll go to practice and I see something and I'm like, this is the way it's going to be. Like this spot is going to get shot quite a bit. Then we get to the tournament and it's not like that. And so recently I've realized, like, okay, I see it at practice. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a spot that gets shot quite a bit, but you know what? It might not be. And so as soon as we realize at the event that it might not be, you have to be nimble and shift completely right away, and the ability to be agile mentally is so crucial to success, in my opinion. It's an imperative part of my personal success recently. And something that I think, a lot of people can, people could be so hard nosed on like, no, this is the right way. And it's the only way. I guarantee it's not the only way.
Yeah. Being nimble. I do improv too, which improv like Groundlings, UCB, a lot of SNL people came from, Will Ferrell, Conan O'Brien, a lot of guys came out of there. And something you learn in that is that listening is the most important skill you can have in comedy. And what the scene partner, your podcast partner, somebody that you encounter in a comedy situation for like a video or a TV show, what they just said, listening and responding to that will be funnier than any joke you've been thinking of in your head that's dealt with something that was said 2 minutes ago. Being in the present moment and being flexible, like you're saying about shooting lanes, that has crossover into my world too.
Yeah, speaking of your world, who are your favorite YouTubers, or like who's your favorite YouTuber of all time?
Oh, I don't. Most of my favorite YouTubers are like sports guys and comedians who are really stand-ups who just have a podcast. My favorite YouTuber is me.
There we go. That's what I wanted. Let's go.
I love that.
In my genre, I'm pretty biased, but I do think we put out the best stuff. And I don't watch a whole lot of content in my genre, to be totally honest.
Hey, did I get this right? You were part of the Nelk Boys at some point?
I collaborated with them frequently. I was never
a
Canadian hockey playing, chewing tobacco using member.
Okay, got it. I mean, that's epic, dude. Nelk Boys are massive.
Yeah.
What an incredible thing. You've like brushed shoulders and been, a part of some pretty amazing collaborations and content.
Yeah, they took over the world, dude. They just so much success, so much money, so much good content, dude. Like, and it's always been super cool to me too. They really helped out my career, so I'm forever grateful to those guys.
And what kind of a rig are you running with? Like, what kind of equipment do you have to get your content, or do you have a whole team of people?
Another jab in my setups, huh? Another jab.
Yeah. We got we got the phone rig right.
Well, he's got the iPhone 5 right now.
Yeah.
4S.
4.5.
We have none of our equipment's that sophisticated. It's just like a $1,000 camera.
Well, this is fine. That's good. That makes it more attainable. I mean,
for people,
that's so much more relatable than you saying, I've got like this super intricate $20,000 rig that like nobody can get. But if you can just pull up your phone, you want to be creative, you want to have ideas, you want to make a brand, you want to do whatever you're trying to accomplish in your life, that phone is going to be the number one supply for getting that job done. You know what I mean? In this modern day and age, just being able to have that in your pocket's tremendous.
Let me say this. When I started my channel, we started it in Vegas in 2017. We bought a plastic iPhone holder off Amazon that would hold my phone sideways. I actually didn't even pay him. My buddy Adam loved to go out and party. And I said, hey, dude, if you hold the camera for me on Thursday nights.
Oh, what a fun.
That was my weekend, Wednesday and Thursday, because I worked in a restaurant. I was trying to make the dream come true. I said, if you hold the camera for me on Thursday nights and we go interview people on the strip, and camera meaning my iPhone, I will go out with you and we'll chase girls. And Tyler, it was so low level that we had to like delete old footage on my phone after every clip we shot because I had no storage space. I had a little clip-on mic, $20 from Amazon, and I watched on YouTube a class on how to edit videos, bought Premiere Pro, and just figured it out. No excuses, and built.
I love that.
Money started coming in.
Dude,
that's
that.
amazing. Well, all right. Before we let you go, I want to ask one more question, just in regards to advice for creatives, for people out there, who want to do what we're all doing. We're creative people. We have platforms. Like, what is a good piece of advice for people to stop saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this project come to life"? Like, what advice do you have for them in that regard?
I feel like we touched on it earlier. That the three of us, we found something where it doesn't feel like work and we love it and we're happy to make the sacrifices and watch the tape and go all in. I would say that if you are having to motivate yourself and trick yourself into working, and it's one thing if it's the 6th day of your week and you've been doing weights and training and tape and your day job, there's going to be a little fatigue. That's natural. But if you are just constantly putting off for days, weeks, and months something, you might be in the wrong industry. But on the other side of that, if you're a guy who you are trying to put out content or play a sport and you really believe in yourself and you think what you're doing is awesome, but you just haven't gotten your break yet, on the other side of that coin, you are going to eventually make it. And that's something I truly believe. If you're in the niche that you're very passionate about and you don't need to be motivated because you love what you do so much, it's eventually going to work out regardless of what advice I can give you. It's going to work out for you already if you've already found your thing.
Yeah. Well, dude, I know I speak on behalf of myself and the whole PTG fan thank you for all of your bad language, terrible jokes, and amazing times that you bring to everything that you do, because I appreciate your work ethic and you as just a creative person and a family of the paintball community as well, dude. You came up with some of the best players of all time, in my opinion. Some of the strongest camps that we've ever seen in paintball. So it's really cool that you've experienced that. I know you're going to do a bunch of funny stuff with paintball, so keep me in the loop and keep us all in the loop on when you create that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, Marcelo, Tyler, this was awesome, man. I want to come back on soon if you guys will have me. I know I had a little potty mouth this time.
Hey, look, take that dental hygienist certificate you have and go and brush your teeth and get all the vomit out of there. He's got a toothbrush. He's got a toothbrush right now. What are the chances?
Hell yeah, Danny.
I'm in my mom's bathroom.
Dude, that's his mom's brush. Hell yeah, dude. Well, hey, you be safe. Have a happy holidays, and we'll tap in with you soon.
All right, guys. Talk to you guys soon.
Hey,
sorry, difficulties. Sorry.
Oh,
no, you're
fantastic, brother. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.
Peace.
He's wild.
Yeah. Woo!
He's wild. Crazy. So that's Danny Mullen, people. Yeah, I know. And he's got, I think he's got almost 1 million followers on YouTube. He's got, a really strong Instagram, and he just pisses people off for a living, and he's the man. So shout out to Danny, and hopefully we'll see him on some paintball fields. I'm sure he's going to be doing some fun content, and who knows, maybe he'll even start a team at some point and have a squad out there. Maybe 100%. He can get the Nelk boys. They can all get a squad.
That'd be so sick.
Yeah. So sick. Run around. Well,
all right.
We thank you for tuning in, everybody. Peace.
Yeah, everybody. As always, see you soon. You know what it is. Peace.
See ya.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. As always, if you would like to support, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the orange Patreon link in the top corner. And if you would like to support, just sign up at any level and you'll get access to the Discord. It's an amazing way to get integrated with the community, ask guest questions, become part of the show, and become part of the amazing PTG community. We can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much, PTG fam, for always asking the greatest questions. You make our guests have a great time, and you make the show so much better. We appreciate you guys tremendously. And as always, we will see you very soon.